Hey, this is Francisca, and this is my mid-crisis life. So today I found out that I have the blood pressure of a school-aged child. I'm so happy about it. So I went to the pharmacy to pick up cream because you have to cream yourself, people. Like this is what keeps your skin looking young. And when I went to pick up my stuff, the lady in the pharmacy said, "Hey, listen, do you want to come and do a blood pressure check?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure. Why?" She said, "Well, we offer it to everybody who's over the age of 40 when they pick up medicine here. Um, although I wasn't really sure why they were asking me to do it with you. And then I saw your date of birth and realized that you were 40, which obviously made me feel amazing because I'm obsessive looking young. And anyway, she went and took my blood pressure, and it's like 99/53. And I went and looked it up immediately because I wanted to know how that compared me to other people who were also old. And it turns out I had the blood pressure of a school-aged child, which is really amazing. And it got me to thinking about the fact that a lot of people say to me, "How do you look so young? You look very young for your age. I can't believe that you're 40." I often get told that I look like I'm in my 20s still, which is amazing for my ego because my ego needs to hear that it looks young and pretty all the time. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. And what do I think? Well, a lot of people say, is it because black don't crack? Yeah, I think there's something to do with that, and it's probably also the fact that I'm like quarter Polish, and I don't think the Polish were ever able to get past a certain age because of communist ruling and the fact that they were all starving. So that probably affected their growth, their lifespan. Maybe never expected to get past 40. I don't know. But really, actually, when I think about it, I think that one of the big reasons why I still look youthful is because essentially I still feel youthful. My kids are always saying to me, like, "Oh, Mum, you're just such a big kid. Like, when are you going to grow up?" And my answer is really, I just have no intention. I have no, really, I have absolutely no intention of growing up ever. And I was thinking really about the fact that I think one of the things that keeps you young is being joyful. I think having like a joyful heart and a joyful outlook on life really does keep you young. And I watched this documentary a while ago about these what are they called? Blue areas. I don't think that's a word for it. Um, but it's like these particular places in the world where people live to, 100 plus and are still young and still sprightly, even though they're old. And they were looking at all of these different uh, factors as to why people might be still young in these areas. Is it to do with the water? Is it to do with the land? Is it to do with whatever? Actually, what they found they found that people were young because of the connection that they had with other people, that there was a really big sense of community, that there was a really big sense of being connected to one another in these places. And I think that there's something to be said about the correlation between feeling joy, being young, and being connected. When I think about, what kids are like and how kids have this joyful inquisitiveness about other people, about things, about life. They don't feel like they've got it all worked out. They don't feel like it's already happened to them. They haven't built up all of this resentment and all of this fear around what might happen next or what has already happened or how people behave or what life is like. They haven't got it all figured out and they don't see things with this negativity. They have this youthful, childlike curiosity about the people around them, about what things mean, about why somebody might be behaving in that way. They haven't already clouded their mind and concluded that life is shit because of their experiences. And I think that that creates like this childlike optimism about the future, this childlike belief that things can always get better, that things are never as bad as they seem. And I always talk about kids having like no context, as having no context in earlier periods of our lives, in like these formative years in our lives when we make these decisions about what life is and who we need to be and how we need to show up. And oftentimes I talk about that in terms of like trauma, in that we don't have the context to understand the wider picture. So we often just believe that bad things are happening because of who we are, because we're not good enough, because we haven't done enough, because we need to be something different, we need to be something better, we need to be something other than who we actually authentically are at our core. I also think that with everything there's duality, right? So if you look at that from another perspective, actually, as a child, we don't have context. We haven't been through all of these negative experiences. Our soul hasn't been crushed by the world. So that's why children are so resilient. Even when really bad things happen to them, they're still resilient to the world. They can still bounce back because they have like a beautiful, blissful ignorance about what anything means and about what possibly this could mean from this thing. So they haven't become risk averse, you know? They're not looking at everything from that risk averse angle. They're looking at everything from an optimistic angle. And I think really and truly, if you want to stay young and if you want to be youthful, it's about changing your mindset. It's about looking at everything as if it's an opportunity, looking at everything as if it's a blessing, rather than everything is, you know, this awful, drawn out, never ending lesson. This never ending crap that's being like dumped upon us that we need to be resilient to. Actually, that resilience sometimes comes from a level of ignorance, that comes from a level of like a childlike optimism about what it is that could happen, not what we think is probably gonna happen, which is just based on all of the shit that already happened last time. So I think, yeah, good genes aside, which I can only be grateful for because that obviously has something to do with it. And aside from creaming your body, which I cannot express enough how important that is, man. Cream yourself, cream your skin, but also remember to try and hold on to that childlike wonder, because with it, the world becomes a magical place of opportunity rather than a hardened place of fear and lack, you know? Yeah. And also, you know, I have the blood pressure of a school age child and probably the maturity of a school age child as well. Thank God. So yeah, I think that's it. Something I'm grateful for. You know what? I think I'm grateful that that today it's been confirmed for me that my outward appearance isn't just skin deep, that my youthfulness isn't just skin deep. Actually, it's on the skin, it's inside the skin, and it's inside the mind. And I think that's a really amazing thing for me to be reconfirmed for me today. So yeah. Okay, I think that's it.